Hi, and welcome back to
Inspired the Game. I'm Sean.
And I'm Lola. If you enjoy what you see here, please support our channel by subscribing down below.
And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much. Now take your left hand, reach over your right shoulder, and pat yourself on the back.
Today we are talking about Trailblazer, the John Muir Trail. This is a game for 1 to 4 players where you are hiking the John Muir Trail. You know, if the title didn't give that away.
Spoilers. The mechanics involved are worker placement, open drafting, resource management, and set collection.
So before we get into our review of this game, we are going to give you a quick overview of how to play it. Trailblazer is played over the course of 12 rounds, representing 12 days of hiking the John Muir Trail. Each round is played in 3 phases: the sunrise, the daytime, and the sunset. In the sunrise phase, you will be randomly drawing a weather token, which may give you an additional resource that you have to pay that day if you want to travel the trail. You will also get to draw and play a trail card, which represents experiences that you may have along the trail. This will allow you to load up some gear into your backpack or activate the elevation if you already have it in your backpack, and it will give you additional resources. At this point, you move into the day phase, in which you get to do your various activities, such as traveling the John Muir Trail. You can only travel one space within 1 round, gathering resources. You can also pay resources to get a field guide card, or you can pay resources to visit a destination. This will give you various benefits as well as victory points. Traveling the trail, as well as taking the trail cards or destination cards, does require you to pay resources. You have a certain amount of resources you start with at the beginning of the game, but you can acquire them along the way. However, if you are ever unable to pay the required resources, you can continue with the action, but you receive 1 hardship token for each resource you were unable to pay. These result in negative victory points at the end of the game. In the sunset phase, you will consume your food as well as your water for the day and do the various reset things for the next round. At the end of 12 rounds, any hiker who has not completed the John Muir Trail automatically loses the game. Out of those that have completed the John Muir Trail, you will add up all your points and see who has had the best experience of the John Muir Trail. So if you check out this video of my top 10 anticipated games of 2023, you'll see that Trailblazer is on that list. And I can tell you, it did not disappoint, my friends. So as you know, I love nature-themed games as well as hiking games. One of the reasons why I've been so excited about this one, particularly because it's gorgeous as well. So as a hiking game, this is all about the John Muir Trail. It's around 213 miles to hike this, and nowadays you actually need a permit in order to hike it, as well as a bear-resistant canister.
So it's way easier to stay at home and pretend.
And play the game, exactly. This is a gorgeous game, everyone. It is absolutely incredible. The artwork is beautiful in all the cards. It is very, very thematic. Every aspect of it supports the theme, from your destination cards, so as well as the set collection. So that's with the field guides, where you can go and gather, whether you're looking at birds or you're looking at the trees or at rivers and such like that. The weather token adds a whole lot of variability to it, as well as the trail cards themselves. There's so many fun things that happen, and it's all very realistic about the things that you're doing. So there's really a lot going on in this game, which makes it nice and thinky. Now, it's not a heavy game at all. It is more like, I would say, medium weight. It is heavier than, say, Parks or Trails as far as a hiking game goes, but because there is more going on. So you have limited resources as well, and you have to manage those resources. It's very tight. It's hard to get those resources, and if you want to go to destinations, which you want to do because those are worth a lot of victory points, you're going to have to use a good amount of your resources. Same thing with visiting the field guides. You have to use your resources, but even your movement along the trail requires using these resources, so you have to acquire them. You have to use your trail cards wisely. when you can, but you only get to use one a turn of those. So it's challenging. I find it very, very challenging to manage those resources, but what I like about that is that challenge actually adds to the theme of the game, because I suspect that hiking the John Muir Trail would not be easy, especially because like at the highest point it's like 14,700 feet.
Yeah, I think the average time to hike it was like 3 weeks. The fastest was 2 days.
And 19 hours.
And 19 hours. Yeah, everybody has their own map pack that describes what resources they need to spend to move on to that next trail tile or trail cards, trail space. It's different for everybody. Sometimes it's 2 where one person will have 1, but you can always look ahead and plan ahead for, okay, now I'm going to need a tree resource, or now I'm going to need to spend a water bottle, those kind of things. So you can really look ahead and get your resources in order, and then see what you have left over to spend to get the field guide cards or the destination cards, and maybe they will also add back into your resources to help you move a little bit further and get ahead of the competition.
Yeah, and I love those little map guides. They're so cool. Now, they could have just had them as a series of cards which you flip over, but instead they have a hole punched through them and they have a ring that connects them all together. So you've got to flip them, and it's just a little bit more immersive, because it feels like one of those field guides that you have that's on a ring like that, and it makes it kind of fun. Now, there is too a solid dose of luck in this game as well. So you don't know what cards you're going to get. You don't know how your objectives are going to line up with those cards, or the movement maps which resources you're going to require at any given time. So that is something to consider with this game. So it's puzzly, there's a certain degree of thinkiness, but there's luck too. But I find that luck in it also thematic, because you can't know everything that's going to happen. You're not in control of all the variables when you're out in nature and hiking like that. Like, there's the weather. It's like suddenly now you need more resources that you didn't expect that you'd need in order to move this round. Now, one thing that we didn't say as well, so this game is played over 12 rounds representing 12 days, but there's only 10 movement places. So as long as you're moving in 10 out of the 12 rounds, you will get to the end of the John Muir Trail and win. But that is the most that you can avoid. And sometimes you need those extra days, like maybe there's a storm and you have to pay extra fire in order to move forward, and it's really tricky. You decide to stay put for one day, and you can do that though for a maximum of 2 days.
Yeah, got to be really careful, because if you don't make it, if you are not at that last trail spot at the end of the 12th round, you didn't make it to the end of the trail, you get 0 points.
Yeah. Now, there are little expansions that come with the game. One is the Black Bear and Bluebird expansion, which has a black bear that randomly moves along the trail, as well as the bird, and the bear steals some food from you if he happens to land on where you are or you go into his space, whereas the Bluebird will give you...
Even though you have a bear-proof
Even
canister. I don't get it.
And the Bluebird will give you a resource if the Bluebird comes into your space.
Or you go into its space.
Or you go into its space.
And there are also a set of mission cards for endgame scoring as well as mid-game scoring. You get one of each. You draft. And then there are skills give you a certain asymmetrical powers throughout the game as well.
Yeah, I really like playing the game with the missions and skills, because it gives you a bit more of a framework within your game, helps you decide where to go, what to choose, like whether you're going for the lake destinations or whichever, in order to get the points that you need to for the game.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a really, really fun game. I love it a lot. Now, personally, for my taste, I'd love it to be just a little bit heavier and a little bit more thinkier, but it is fantastic still as it is. It is a solid medium weight, which is fantastic, and it's just absolutely a joy to play.
Yeah, I'm happy with it the way it was. The luck element is what helps me win occasionally against her.
Now, one thing I would love to see is with the field guide cards, it would be lovely to have just one sentence, a little tidbit about whatever it was, whether it's about a tree or the bird, just one little knowledge fact that's interesting or even not interesting. It would be nice to have that as an addition to those cards, which I think would be my only tweak I would love to see with the game. But this is a beautiful, beautiful game. If you like nature-based games, this is a nice gateway one. This is one anybody can play. It's simple to learn, and there's a lot going on to keep people interested and immersed in it. And it does have that little bit of a stress because you are kind of racing to all these different things, and it's nice and immersive in that because it is a challenge doing a hike like that. But in the meantime, it's beautiful. So check it out if you're interested. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching us ramble on today.
Check out some of our other videos.
And in the meantime, happy gaming, folks. I'm just randomly holding a hardship token. I just need something in my hand. What was I saying that I was re-saying? Because every aspect of it really